O respiro que o seu bolso precisa está no BrisaCast. Mente leve, o futuro avisa. Vem pro BrisaCast.
Here we are with such a special guest for another podcast of financial education, but everybody by now must know our heart is to empower our beautiful community, our migrant community in Australia. Then I have no words to say how much I'm thankful for this guest that came from so far to be here today with us and share his heart, his experience, and everything else. Well, Alejandro, please tell us who you are and a bit more about yourself, please.
Well, Claudia, thank you very much for inviting me today to be here with you guys. I think it's very special for me to be able to share my experience and my knowledge with your audience, because in the end, if we can always impact people through our genius, why not do it through a podcast recording, right? So thank you very much for making me be part of this episode. Well, my name is Alejandro Ortiz, and of course I do have an accent, like we all have, right? So I am Colombian originally. I have been in Australia since 2018. And I came here to do my MBA, Master of Business Administration. And when I finished my master's, I thought, okay, what do I want to do with this? So then I thought about setting up my practice in consulting in Australia. So now I work as a career, life and business coach in Australia, and I basically scope migrants who come to the country and they really want to make a life in Australia at a professional or business level. So these are mainly my clients. But at the same time, I wanted to complement my career, business career, with something else. So I started back in 2023 to teach classes at Macquarie University. And I do teach classes around business, career, and soft skills. Plus, finally, I became part of a platform that is an online Australian platform that is basically providing career and coaching services to people working in corporate in Australia. And I basically cover the same realms: career, business, and life. So the thing is that I decided to diversify, but always doing that in something that is aligned to my genius, aligned to my purpose. And that's why, because I do believe that every person has a genius, why not to inspire people to do the same with their own genius in Australia?
Perfect. You know, since we met as in a business expo, so good recommendation for all of you out there. Network, you meet great people. It impressed me exactly that. You have your passion, which you call your genius, your skill, and you say, you know what, I want to do what I'm passionate about. And one of the things I see a lot on our migrant community, sometimes out of necessity or out of lack of encouragement or disbelief, they start over again. Nothing wrong with start all over again, but tell us more about this. And you are teaching at Macquarie University. That's another level. Please tell us more about this.
Well, so actually you mentioned a very important concept here, which is starting all over again. When I migrated to Australia, before that, my career was around industrial engineering. Because that's what I studied back in Colombia. And I was having a successful career in Colombia, but then I was lacking that fulfillment, right, when I was working there. And sometimes we think that fulfillment comes with earning a good salary or working in a very good company. And that's true. But the thing is that we then start thinking about something is missing. And I came to realize that I wanted to do something more meaningful. Then I did undertake for 3 years courses in coaching in Colombia as well. And I started to see that what was missing in myself was the human component. Okay? So we can be very good at marketing, finance, accounting. But if we do something with this to put it at the service of others to help people, is much better. So fulfillment comes from helping others with our genius. So then I thought, okay, perfect. Now I know coaching. What can I do with this? Okay, so I came to Australia, did my MBA, and wanted to set up my practice in consulting, willing to support other people in finding their genius. Okay, so when I do see that I can support other people in any way, the fulfillment is there, right? So
good.
it's not only about money, it's not only about the good company, it's okay, I'm supporting others with what I know, which is great. So sometimes we need to start all over again to be able to find that identity and then making a business out of that.
That's a really good point. I love that. Start all over again, motivated by passion and not by money. Correct?
Exactly.
And that's you did that very successfully. And I can see the passion in your eyes. I can see the passion when you talk about everything. And you are invited to this because we also here very passionate about education.
Yes, exactly.
So
yes.
there you are, like-minded people, we find each other. But I know there's something really special that happened lately, which was a sort of a challenge and a big win for you as well. Do you want to tell us more about that?
Yes, Claudia. So actually 2025 for me was a very challenging year. And I think it was also challenging for many people. But the thing is that when you understand that a challenge is happening for a reason, you say, thanks God, because I was able to understand the reason why. So as migrants, we need to go through all the visa processes, right?
Absolutely.
And it's part of the ongoing process before we set up finally in a different country. So the same thing was happening to me. And I do remember looking at, many migrants, many friends and colleagues who have amazing professions in their countries, but they come here and they need to start, from scratch again. Doing casual jobs or doing something. I also went through the same stage because, of course, it wasn't that easy to find a professional job. But anyway, what happened to me is that I was applying for a new visa last year, right? And the thing is that the government started to do something with many countries is that the government lowered the rate or the rating for some countries, some Latin countries, some Asian countries, which means when you apply for a visa, you need to prove the financial capacity. And that's why financial institutions come into place, right? You need to prove that you have the genuine intention to study something and that you have career progression, right? So, of course, I had to pass through this. And I do remember the reason why we met, Claudia, is because I was asking you a question. I said, I need to prove financial capacity for my new visa. Are you a lender? Right? And then you said,
true.
yes, but what is your visa? And I was on a bridging visa, right? So when it comes to bridging visas, there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
I can either leave or stay in the country.
Yeah.
So I was knocking the door in many institutions and they said, Alejandro, not possible. You do have the resources, you do have the ability. We know you have
a good job.
a good job, exactly.
At university.
But the visa is not guaranteed. So because of that, we can't lend you money. And at the beginning, I was frustrated because I thought, what can I do then? Not only with institutions like Brisa Finance, but also with banks. It wasn't possible. And I had to get $50,000 to prove for financial capacity. And then, of course, I had to make use of my savings and to ask money to my relatives, my parents, my brothers. And also, then I thought, I also have money in my business because, of course, I do have income from my business. But I was thinking, what if I do prove that I have capacity from my business account? What is going to be the perception from the government, right?
Exactly.
And then I thought, you know what, Alejandro, be honest, because in the end, you are working in something that you love. Your business is about helping others succeed, and you're always willing to respect the law by working either at university or with your business. So in the end, I was able to prove that I had the financial capacity, and I lodged my application, which is good. It was finally approved in December last year, right? And with this, I will start my Master by Research at Macquarie University this year. Why? Because I want to upskill myself. I really want to be able to pursue job roles in, for example, as a lecturer at the university at a higher level. So I need to upskill myself. So with this, I wanted to prove to the government that I want to do something for my career progression, right? So my message with this to the audience is that what is your intention when coming to the country? What is your career goal? And make decisions according to that. When your decision is genuine, or when your intention is genuine, when the program you want to study is genuine, you will find a way. It's all a matter of being genuine and with a good intention in your career.
Absolutely. And I know you did a really good profile for the government by yourself, which I did as well, but back in 2010. And I agree in every single detail. Obviously, some people less paperwork orientated, they might need someone to help them through. But I remember my process, and I don't compare because I think, oh, that was 2010. A lot of things has changed. But when every single little thing on your application is genuine, just makes sense. And what I understood back then, myself calling an immigration, getting information, they actually guided me through and say, look, you just need to make sure things are making sense. Obviously, you have a genuine intentions here. You're doing everything you can to keep the law, and we want to help you. And it was a fantastic experience. So I'm very glad you're sharing that.
Thank you very much.
And encourage them, please, to ask the question, like search your heart, you find. And if there is a will, there is a way. Agree?
Exactly. If there's a will, there's a way, and I do agree with that. And I've seen a lot of migrants who come here to the country and they enrolled in courses, but sometimes they don't attend classes, or sometimes they don't actually like the course, right? It's all about sending the right message to yourself, right? I'm doing this because I want to make a career out of something that I'm studying. Call it business, marketing, or something. When you're genuine, things flow naturally. And I always remember something that comes from nature. When you look at a river, for example, the river, you see a lot of little stones and you see the fishes, right? When you see a fish that is swimming through the water and there's an obstacle, like a stone, the fish not going to try to break the stone or fight against the stone, because in the end, it's not natural. What they do, they go with the flow, right? They try their best and going with the flow. So when you see an obstacle, try to find a way to overcome it. Sometimes it's not about fighting it, it's all about understanding that maybe there's another way. But when your intention is genuine, you always find a way, right? So sometimes we want to do this and this and this, but then when we go deeply inside of us, we can see that maybe there's not a genuine intention. Maybe we were made out of other talents that we need to explore. But when we fine-tune on or deep dive into those talents, we find the answers. And then we find the right career path, the right university, the right institution, the right lender to help us fulfill that dream.
Absolutely. And what a best place to be where out of your new circumstance in a new country, you, using the metaphor of the river, you need to recalibrate and move a little bit in the direction. It still will get you to where you have to be, however, adjust a little bit. Isn't it? Like sometimes the go with the flow bring more opportunities than you could ever imagine it, instead of making a war of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I remember, Claudia, when we met back in November 2025, right? I was going through this process, right?
Exactly.
Of finding my way. But then the thing is that that's another thing that I tell to people, to my clients, is that always knock the door, because you never know who's going to be on the other side of the door willing to help you. Exactly. So I went to that business expo, right, which was great. And what I got out of that mostly wasn't clients. was more about understanding what other migrants have done in the country to be able to be successful. So I was having informal chat with other migrants who are also business owners, and they told me the story. You told me, Alejandro, how about you try to do this with your visa? Other people told me, how about you try to do this with your visa? So when you have an intention of making a decision and you ask the right people about that, you find the right answers. So I need to say thank you, Claudia, because of course with your advice, I was able to, of course, knock at doors and find solutions, right? So my message with this is always when you are in the middle of a crisis or in the middle of something that is difficult, try to ask for help to the right people, because many people have passed through the same process before and they've done it correctly. So why not to ask them and you find a way? And when doing this, I do believe that we are here to help each other, right? And now we are recording this wonderful episode for your audience because we were able to meet back in November 2025.
Power of connection.
The power of connections, as you mentioned before, do networking.
Proximity is everything.
Exactly.
Yeah? Tony Robbins says that, and I'm a big fan of him. I know he's a bit old school as it is as a coach, but that has a lot of, a weight still,
Yes.
Proximity is everything. If you want to learn to play soccer, you need to be in a soccer team.
Exactly.
Even if it's on your street soccer team, but like you have to put yourself out there, If you want to grow your business, why not to be on a business expo, connecting with other business people. Yeah.
Exactly. And then, because I got to meet you at the Business Expo, I realized the importance of companies like yours that lend money to other people, right? So you also have a purpose, right? Because you want to help people be successful in their ventures, in their businesses, right?
Exactly. That's the heart, yeah.
And in the end, if you exist, you also have a purpose, which is great. So my purpose might be different. It's more about career orientation. Your purpose is more about how I can help you with money to succeed in your business.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm very passionate about financial education. When I'm helping people finding money for expand business, prove financial capacity, which will be more on the territory of personal loans, doing the first home or the investments. For me, it's all about, educate them through the process and help them achieve what they want. So it's not what I want or what I get out of it. So people that work close to me know I love what I do. I love what I do. There is no a hard day at the office for me. There's some days there's more challenges, but it is what it is. And I don't take home the hard days or stress. I don't look stressed because I'm not stressed.
Good. And
That's true.
Because you love what you do.
Exactly. I enjoy the process. I enjoy serving my clients. I enjoy, I celebrate with them when they get their first house. It's like amazing achievement. Sometimes they come across a little bit discouraged, poor things, and say, no, I have this huge debt. I say, forget about the debt. Celebrate, enjoy, and it's all like milestones to get you where you want to be if you have clarity. So in that, because I really admire how you think and how you coach people, tell us more about your business and how can you help people and what's available there, like as a tip for people that are on that position. They'll be lost. They don't know what to do, where to start. And the only thing they know is a bit complex, so take time, answer your way. I just want to stay in Australia. That's not the answer, I know.
Exactly, that's not the answer. So the thing is that many people come here and of course they're lost, or some of them are lost because they don't know their way, right? So of course there's always the support of a migration agent to help you transition through your different visas. But at the same time, what is important to do, and that's what I do with my clients, is that, okay, you need to find a job, you need to have, for example, a sponsorship, or you need to find a partner, or you need to find where to go when it comes to different regions. Great. However, don't forget that you have something in mind that is your purpose, okay? And I do remember that when we all were raised with the standard education system. So we all learn geography, history, languages, physics, which is great. But I think we never learned at school how to understand or uncover that talent, right? Those main talents, right? So we end up being at universities studying, industrial engineering or marketing, which is great. But sometimes something is missing, right? And what I tell to my clients is, okay, when you wake up every day, what do you do for free? What do you do without even being asked to do? And some people, for example, say, Alejandro, I do like thinking about what happened to me last night. And I start connecting dots between all the conversations and make a decision out of that. Interesting. Some other people, for example, what they do, they make different phone calls with friends and they do advise them. Okay. Some other people, for example, they do like cooking. So when you start going deeply into your activities that you do at home, you can find those innate talents. Those talents given to you when you were a kid, right? So that happened to me. For example, I'm a person who I wake up and I start connecting all the dots. That person told me this, but at the same time that happened to my father, and my father transitioned to that in the past. Maybe she's passing through this. So I do like connecting dots so that I can then help the person with clarity. That's part of my talents. So I decided to put my talents at the service of others through my career. So in the end, it's not about only marketing. What is your talent within marketing? What is that identity that you can help people with? Maybe it's professional branding. Maybe it's more about personal branding. Okay, you want to develop content. What is intention? What is the competitive advantage of your services? And you can understand that when you deep dive into your own talents, because in the end you can do it better than other people. So that's what I teach to people, is that try to find that innate talent that you have, so that we can shape your career accordingly. Without falling into the same trap of getting to a job that pays the bills, but I don't find fulfillment. So when you can link your job with your talents, you make the right choice.
Fulfillment is just a consequence of these two coming together.
Exactly.
And I would say is a little bit maybe not for the newer generation, because this year I'm going to turn 50, so I speak for myself.
Although you look like 45, 40.
Oh, thank you. So on our generation, and probably the ones that are on the 40s still, the newer generation maybe not, I don't know, guys. As I said, I'm going to speak for myself. We were not allowed to ask those questions. We came out of some countries' dictatorship, like Brazil in the 80s, and some hard times. So we were to do something that for sure would make money. So we never asked those questions to ourselves, unfortunately. But that was the first thing I noticed when I got to Australia and I made friends with Australia. They asked themselves. So I saw at my church, for example, we had kids, the son and daughter of a guy that was a company CEO, baby boomer CEO, and then this kid, one did arts and the other one did carpentry, TAFE. And I was like, how that works, In Brazil, we were not allowed to do that. The daddy didn't push them. And then I started to realize, wow, actually here, I'm the same as you. I like thinking, analyzing. Analytical brain is incredible. You did engineer, so I'm assuming you have a little bit of analytical in you. And I was like, oh, okay, so here, and then start asking questions. And I remember speaking with dad of a good friend of mine, And he said, oh, hey, Claudia, in my generation, we're still asking, I need to get a degree. So he did accountancy. He was an accountant. And I need to excel. Then the world has changed. Australia has changed. We're so blessed. The kids can do whatever they want and they're going to earn the same money. So as a home, me and my wife, we said, let them be whatever they would like to. So one is a photographer, he has 5. One is a lawyer, one is a nurse. So it's all like, and they're happy. And what a blessing, that was a big shock. And I start sharing with people, and I share until nowadays exactly that. If my sister-in-law has a student agency, so we get in touch quite a bit with the student. We know the pain. We have family on the process doing so visas and studying, and say, hey, do you know you have an opportunity to do actually whatever you like? Because you get paid fair in Australia.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Exactly. So the thing is that, and I completely resonate with that, is that, Claudia, if you can do whatever you are in Australia, you want to be in Australia, how about you find that identity first?
Yes.
And then talk to a lawyer to help you transition into your best career path to be able to become permanent resident. If you can do it, try to work on that. Because many people that I know get trapped into the same loop of uncertainty. I don't want to abandon my career because I've built a career over the last 10 years, which is great. But I don't see fulfillment. I don't feel fulfillment. And I think now it's too late. I do feel a lot of fear about giving up on my career because I am 40, 35 or 50 and I haven't done what I want to do in the past.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. But I do have here what I call the balloon of wisdom, is that, and that's something that to me has helped me a lot, is that when you identify your talent, people will start looking for you. And I will say this again. When you identify your talent, people start looking for you. And look at this, Claudia. We met at a Business Expo event, right? Now we're here. Natural. Why?
Natural
Because you're clear about your talent. I'm clear about my talent. So we start getting to know people who will help us be more visible. Why? Because we're clear about the talent, right? So we don't need to hesitate because there will be always a voice for ourselves, right? There will be always somebody who will help us out when it comes to facing that uncertainty. You identify your talent and then you will meet people, companies, you will enroll in courses that will help you shape that career.
And what a good step to be to invest in something that actually your passion is not just something done for getting a visa or a PR. But I'm not going to go right there. I actually wanted you to share with us in your business, of course, you help whoever contracts you in life coaching space to uncover these hidden gems, let's say, and the identity, as you call, and the hidden talents. So you're gonna leave your contacts for our audience to contact you. But if someone just want a few tips in how to get to that, what should I do? Is anything that you recommend, a book or exercise or something?
Yes. So I will recommend a few tips here for the audience who are listening to us today. So tip number 1 is that think about the things you do when you are home alone, right? Things that you do without being asked for. So think about, you wake up and you think about, I will do this, I will start something. What do you do? Now, think about tip number 2. Think about the moments in which you have been recognized for something. Maybe you received a reward, you received an award, you received a congratulations. Think about those ways or moments in which you were awarded, okay? Number 3, think about the conversation with your loved ones, let's say parents, partner, good friends, what do they tell you about you? Hey, you're good at this, you're good at that. Because they're the ones who actually get to know you really well. Okay?
They know you, yeah.
Exactly. And number 4, think about the moments in which you were successful at the workplace. What things were easy for you to do? What thing you enjoy the most? Don't think about a job. Think about little tasks, right? When you think about that and you make a list, right, you will discover your main talents, okay? And once you make a list, you might come up with, let's say, 10, 15, 20 talents. Please order them in a priority level, right? So I do enjoy this the most and this one the least, okay? And then pick maybe 5 or 3 out of those talents. 3 or 4 or 5 with the highest rating. There is your solution. There is your compass, because that's your innate talent, okay? And then what you can do, find a career coach who can help you transition or shape those talents into something fulfilling for you, right? So it's important that you find support, because sometimes we can identify the talents, but then what do we do with this, right? So with those talents, you can maybe, for example, transition into a marketing role doing this, or into a finance role doing this, or you can become a business owner, right? But there's always somebody who can help you with that. And that's why I'm here, to help you with shaping that career based on those main talents.
Perfect. I'm going to do this exercise.
Good.
Loved it.
Yes,
Loved it.
great.
And yes, we want your details. Okay, tell a little bit more about your brand and how you consult, and how is your time now, because you're going to do a master's in research. So
Yes.
that's a big investment of your time as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the thing is that, well, my business, it's called Alejandro Ortiz Consulting, which is my name consulting. My website is alejandroortizconsulting.com, and I do provide services in Australia or overseas. What I do, I am happy to give a 40 minutes free consultation to every person who wants to come to me and find out what to do next, right? Because in the end, I do believe in the power of proximity, as you mentioned. So if we do have a good connection and we're able to understand what is your concern, your main pain point, I'm happy to provide advice in that regard. Before offering something, I always like to understand my client, right? What is your pain point? What are your needs? And then I have developed over time 10 different coaching programs. So I can tailor those programs based on my client's needs, right?
Very good.
Why a program? Because in the end, I do believe that when it comes to achieving your goal, you need consistency. So I do develop programs based on 5, 6, or 10 weeks, so that I can guide my client through the journey of, for example, getting a job, or making a business decision, or, for example, making a career or study decision. Right? It's all about understanding the talents first and then leading to the decision. But because I want to be with my client in that process, I have developed programs that last different weeks, right? Now, I also have a social media channel. So I'm currently on LinkedIn, Alejandro Ortiz Consulting, also Instagram, Alejandro Ortiz Consulting, and Facebook, Alejandro Ortiz Consulting. Easy. Easy, so that people can remember me. It's all about my name and consulting. And why did I pick my name? Because I do believe in personal branding, right? So when it comes to coaches, counselors, and you believe in your talents, why not use your name to brand your business?
Absolutely, because that's a star job, I would say, like you are the star, and you need just to show who you are and showcase who you are,
yes.
right? Absolutely. Now, we know you're going to do research and you're going to pick the theme and that goes like that, and discuss with, for you out there, research, the teacher, your coach, and you guys need to agree on the development of the papers, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, but is anything specifically that you have in mind to present, to start researching?
Yes. So the thing is that when it comes to a career as a lecturer, for example, one thing is being a teacher, one thing is being a leader in the education industry, and the other thing is being a researcher, right? But all of them are aligned to each other, right? For example, I currently teach a unit that is called Enhancing Your Employability. So I'm trying to help my students to be employable, right?
Amazing.
What if I do research about employability? So I can, for example, upskill myself in something that we haven't discovered, right? So I will be able to do a bit of research around talents or concerns, or maybe time spent in finding a job, or what do recruiters need from new generations. If I'm able to understand what is missing through my research, I can then improve the quality of my teaching. So in the end, Claudia, what is important is that whatever decision we make should be aligned to our purpose. Call it teaching, leadership, or research. Because in the end, I will enjoy myself doing everything that I want in any area. That's what I picked research, so that I can be a person who actually did investigation in something aligned to what I want to teach later to the future generations.
Very good. The talents, the hidden talents. And because people that watch our podcast is mostly migrant and they are interested in master finances. So we'll have various themes always related to finance. Now, what's your insight on when you find your purpose, you work your talent, how does reflect in finance?
Good. And that's related to what I mentioned before, Claudia, is that when you find your talent, people start looking for you. So money comes when people know who you are.
Ah, I like that.
Okay. So for example, let's say I got to meet you, right? And I know that you have the company Brisa Finance, right? So Claudia, it's a nice person, but at the same time, she has a company in that. So what is important is that when somebody thinks about Claudia, they remember what you do.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
And then word of mouth. Oh, Claudia, I do know this person. Oh, she's doing that. But what if, for example, I have Claudia, she works as a lender, but at the same time, she posted content about being a swimmer, plus content about beauty, plus content about, for example, traveling. That's all great, but there's no consistency.
There's no consistency.
Exactly. So consistency here is vital. And that's why if you have social media, try to be consistent. Try to always showcase your talents, your expertise in social media, in your professional branding, in the events that you attend, so that people will remember for who you are and what you can offer, right? So when you identify your talent, number one, then number two, be consistent, okay? Every time you go to an event, hey, I'm Claudia, I'm Alejandro, I do this. This is my purpose. How can I help? Right? And then you want to follow me? Okay, social media. Consistency. And people like consistency. We sometimes undermine consistency, right? But it's very important because people will remember who you are for what you show with them. Okay? So that's why, number one, find your talent. Number two, people will start looking for you and they need to see consistency. Okay? So with those 3 tips, believe me, money will come your way.
Amen.
Amen.
I agree in every single word. Money comes when you very passionate and truthful of what you offer, and it all reflects on you. So you can't talk about property investment, perhaps, and nothing wrong with people that do that, but on my core values resonate that I should have a property to be able to talk about the process. You know, if I'm in a bank and I'm going to serve someone, that's fine, I can serve someone. But as a company owner, like the certain things are very important, you know. So you talk out of your core experiences, aligned with your purpose. I love that. everything that we do, if we align with our purpose, flourish.
Exactly. And
Flourish.
and you know what,
No
Claudia?
other way.
I remember when I did
Yeah.
my MBA back in 2018 to 2020. My MBA covered different subjects in finance, right? And I liked them. But I was looking on the inside. Is finance my passion? Maybe it's not. How about I let others shine as finance experts? And when I need help, I look for those people, right? So when doing the MBA, I was able to realize I have studied a lot of subjects, but I need to be honest to what I like. What is the main talent, right? And what is this true? And I would like to, let's say, wrap up with this. When you look into nature, you will find solutions. For example, when you see an apple tree, right? You see the apple is beautiful. It only produces apples, only. When you see a peach tree, it only produces peaches, right? But then you see the apple tree and the peach tree, right? The apple tree doesn't envy the peach tree because the apple tree is convinced of who it is, right? So, okay, peaches are delicious, but I'm also delicious. And the people who want apples will be looking for apples when getting closer to the apple tree. And there are also peaches and watermelon, right? But we need to have to be consistent with the fruit. So my question is to the audience, what is your fruit? And try to be consistent with your fruit offering so that people will know that you are a watermelon, a peach, an apple. And love who you are as a person, as a talent that you have. And believe me, the offering will be consistent and people will start looking for you.
Absolutely. Are you an apple or a peach? Who you are.
Exactly.
Identity. How important is that?
Yes.
Identity aligned with purpose is powerful.
Yes.
You know, the blessings come because you deliver consistent. What is your fruit? I absolutely agree with that. And if you just listen to this on this podcast, that's a valuable tip. That's the tip. Now, we can talk hours.
Yes, I know. We love this topic, right?
Yes.
Great.
Now, we skip in the beginning, but I would like you to give us an insight because you're teaching at Macquarie, and I know people are going to get curious. You speak English really well. Fantastic.
Thank you
I'm
very
very impressed and proud of you. So just give us a little bit of your background in Colombia. We know we did engineering, but who you are and how do you get this beautiful English? Just a little bit of insight on that.
Good. Okay. So as a migrant, what is important is that remember you are in a different country, right? So it's important to embrace the new culture. Number one, what I did, for example, when I was living in Australia, with different people, I always picked people who were speaking in English, right?
Good tip.
For example,
Immersion.
Exactly. So my two best friends, I decided to be two Brazilian ladies. We were speaking in English all the time with accent because we both have accent, but in English all the time, right? Number two, find people who are better than you. And we were speaking about this before, right? Because those people will help you succeed, help you upskill, right? So sometimes we try to meet up with the same community. It's comfortable, the same language.
Comfortable, yeah.
They know the culture, they know everything about us. How about you step out the comfort zone and you meet up with Indians, with Japanese people, with Chinese people? Because first of all, you need to be forced to speak in English, and then you need to understand the way they process, the way they think, right?
Immersion.
Immersion, exactly. Number three is that if you want to build a career in something, try to find people who work in the industry.
I like that.
Right? Otherwise, it will be very hard. So yes, for example, I like music. Okay, try to attend events where musicians are present or where music is being played. Try to go to concerts and try to talk to those people.
Be intentional.
Be intentional, exactly. If you want to be a financial broker, the same thing. Go to financial brokers events, right? Try to meet up with people who work in the industry and try to be selective with the people around you. Okay? So we are the result of the 5 people we hang out mostly with.
I love that. Explore that, please. I know we're going to go over time,
Exactly.
Karina.
And the thing is that in the end, we have limited time, right? So we need to be selective with time. So try to find those 5 people who are going to be your friends, your colleagues, the closest people to you, because they will be able to shape your career, right? So sometimes we do have friends, they are super nice, but think about, do they add value to what I want? Do they like who I am as a person? Maybe yes, maybe not. So we become the person when being around of the 5 people we spent mostly time with.
Make sure those people align with your values, your core values, because it then helps you with your purpose and be intentional. If time is valuable, you might want to make a space, although it's so comfortable when we are migrating and, you know, all the hard work to learn English, to hang out with our own people. Be intentional. Pick 1 or 2 friends that can't speak your own language.
Exactly.
Problem solved.
Exactly.
Challenge there.
So that's what I did. I started to be intentional, and then basically back in 2023, I did a lot of networking events and attended a lot of networking events and was able to meet people who work in the education industry. They say, Alejandro, we do like what you do. We would like to invite you as a guest speaker to one of our classes, right? You know, Claudia, I had to deliver in total maybe 15 sessions for over a period of 1 year. I did it for free, but with intention, because I wanted to be part of the industry. And after that, I was able to prove in my CV, I have attended or delivered these events, these sessions. When I applied for the role, they said, Alejandro, you are in.
Absolutely. And those people that you invest, because I did a little bit of volunteer job on my own career on the very beginning as well. And one of my jobs I got by being a volunteer for the city of Sydney. So that's, I resonate with that. And yes, you might say, oh, but I need to save money for my next visa, etc. You have to put things aside sometimes. Money is not everything.
Exactly.
You know? And being intentional is important. And yes, one of my good opportunities I got out of the volunteer job.
Exactly.
There you go.
Which is great.
You know,
and think about, for example, today, Claudia. So it's sunny outside.
Yeah.
I could be by the beach or by the pool, right? But I thought, I prefer to spend time here with you because I have an intention, a purpose of being here, right? So when you invest in something, that starts to grow.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So what do I want to grow in my life? And try to put energy into that only and be consistent with that thing that you want to grow. Because in the end, when you are consistent, you are giving up on things that are just not adding value to your life. And that's good. Could be a bit hard at the beginning because you need to say bye sometimes to friends, to things that you were doing in the past. But it's all about cutting down distractions so that you can focus on your genius. And that will grow as an apple tree.
And nothing's forever. Sacrifice for a period of time. And then when you are ready, reward yourself a little bit. Because you build the muscle of sacrifice first, get the result, then I reward myself. Okay, that's my tip.
That's a very good tip. I like that.
Cool. Now to wrap up, tell us anything you like, and also leave a powerful phrase in Spanish, please.
Okay, good. So anything that I like about doing in personal life, or what?
Anything that you like in regarding to your fruit.
Okay, so what I do like about my fruit is an orange, right? I call it orange because I love oranges, but what I do is that I provide a direction coach. So think about this. So when it comes to coaches, we have so many coaches, right? Coaches in fitness, coaches in parenting, coaches in raising kids, coaches in relationship. I decided to focus on direction. This is what I do. So when it comes to direction, every time I find uncertainty in my life, I try to research about, okay, how to find direction. And that's what I do. Everything that I do in life is all about finding or helping people with direction. Okay, call it personal, business, or career. That's what I do. And my work is also based on providing career, life, and business direction. Okay.
Cool.
I love that. Now, something to wrap up. I would say, I have it in English, by the way, but I would say it in English first,
Okay.
and then in Spanish. So, in English is that if you just keep showing up, life will reward you. Okay? So, si tú continúas intentando, si tú continúas poniendo esfuerzo, si tú continúas siendo genuino con lo que tú eres, la vida te recompensará. So the thing is that don't worry about the obstacles, don't worry about what is happening outside with the US, with the politics, with the wars. Don't worry about it. Distractions, exactly. Just keep showing up in regards to your values, your talent, your purpose. And life will reward you, because in the end, life rewards congruency, certainty, consistency, right?
Consistency.
And that's why, Claudia, because I was consistent with my visa, with my intention, I got the reward.
You got a reward.
We need to suffer a bit, but it's part of life, right?
Yeah.
A bit of suffering to help you really understand and embrace, do you really want this? Yes. So push hard and life will reward you. So it's all about this. If you just keep showing up, life will reward you.
Absolutely. Amazing. Guys, that's it for today. That's Alejandro Ortiz, this amazing person with this gorgeous smile and with this, a world of wisdom in life coaching advice. I hope you guys picked up a bunch of things. I did. I'm gonna do a few exercises.
Good.
And yes, he will write a few phrases so we can put for you guys to copy down later when we watch our podcast. Bye.
Thank you very much, Claudia, for this wonderful invitation. Also, thank you for making space for people like me to be able to speak up, because in the end, we both are making a contribution to the audience. So thank you for that. And guys, good to see you. And I will look forward to maybe being invited to another recording.
Absolutely.
Anytime soon.
We have more things to talk about. That's
Great.
for sure.
Yes. So thank you, Claudia. Bye-bye.
Well.
O respiro que o seu bolso precisa está no BrisaCast. Mente leve, o futuro avisa. Vem pro BrisaCast.